In this lesson, we are going to talk about inputs and outputs for computers. All right, so the first thing I want you to do is pull up your journal. All right, this is your prompt. And what that's going to look like for you is this. Okay, so imagine that you are going to recommend a pet to someone. What are 3 questions you would ask them to help make that recommendation? What are 3 questions you would ask them to help them make that recommendation? All right, pause the video here until you have 3 questions and you've added them to your journal, okay? In the last lesson, we learned that a computer is a machine that works with information. Right now, we are going to work with information to make a pet recommendation to a classmate or a family member. All right, and so you've thought about 3 questions. Okay. If you are working with someone else who is also in this class, go ahead, take turns asking your questions and making a recommendation to your partner. Okay, if you are working with a family member at home, they don't need to ask you questions. Okay, if they want to, they can, but like this is for you. Okay, so you should ask your questions and make a recommendation to whomever it is that you're talking to. Okay, pause the video here until you have a recommendation based on your questions, and maybe some additional questions for the person you're talking to, so you can recommend them a pet. Pause the video. In order to solve this problem of what pet should I get, okay, you had to get information from somebody in the form of answers to your questions. You also had to give information in the form of a recommendation. Computers do the same thing, okay? The information they get from users is called input, and the information they give to users is called output. So let's take a look at an app that also makes pet recommendations. Okay, I want you to keep in mind our question of the day, which is how do computers use input and output to get and give the information they need to solve problems? Okay. This is our question of the day, so let's see what we can do. You're going to go to code.org, and I am going to have it linked for you, this particular part, in the assignment post. Okay, so we are going to the pet chooser, okay, and yeah, okay, the pet chooser. So try playing the pet chooser app a few times. Think about what are the inputs and what are the outputs, okay? And once you have, pause the video so you can play around with it, and whenever you get done, go ahead and come back. All right, now that you're back and you've played with it, right? Okay, if you haven't played with it, don't come back. Go back to where you were. All right, you need to play with it because part of the fun of learning with code.org is being able to explore. Okay, so these are the instructions for the pet chooser. Try playing with it. I did not. Okay, see full level. Okay. Play around, experiment with this pet chooser, okay? And let's see how it works for you. So while we're waiting, of course it's taking longer than usual because I'm also recording this and recording my face, and so this sweet little laptop is not used to doing so much work because I'm just a teacher. That's all I was given a computer for, to do teacher things, not to record online lessons. But c'est la vie. Here we are. Let's try reloading. So as we're waiting for this to load, I want you to think about the purpose of this lesson, okay? Inputs and outputs. So all of the apps that we use in code.org today are going to revolve around being able to identify inputs and outputs. So keep that in mind. Hey, I got it. Okay, here we go. So, to start the app, press the orange run button. Okay, doker. So you see I don't have one. I think I gotta make my screen bigger. Here you go. Okay. Run. The ultimate pet chooser. Click here to start. Are you allergic to pet fur? No. Do you like going outside? No. How cute should the pet be? Very cute. Oh my gosh, a hamster. Yes. Okay. So if you don't know me, for the last 2 years, I've been thinking about getting a hamster for the classroom. Okay. Except a hamster is like perfect for like keeping in the pocket of a hoodie. Or if my shirt had a pocket, I could keep the hamster in that pocket. So I feel seen right now. Okay, play around, maybe use this on somebody else and see what happens, okay? And then what I want you to do is click this finish button right here and move on to Bubble 2 Story Creator. And let's experiment with that. So this story creator is going to let you create a story, all right, based on your input. It allows you to put specific information into a form, and then it generates a personalized story based on the information you provide. So, number one thing to do, hit run. All right. Give a name. Okay, now y'all know where I live. Wonderful. But give a name. So let's go with Santa Claus. Give a color. Red. Give a food. Cookies. An emotion. Jolly. And a city. North Pole. Let's make it... this is a tough one. Okay, let's make it sci-fi because I like sci-fi. Okay, once there was an alien named Santa, yikes, who wanted to take over the earth. It came down and started shooting red lasers everywhere, but soon it got hungry and decided to stop for cookies. It suddenly became jolly and realized it could never destroy a planet with such deliciousness. So Santa decided to move to North Pole and eat cookies every day. And that is how we now have Christmas. Right? Okay, so we see how that works. What are the inputs and what are the outputs? When you're done making your story, click finish. The next app that we're going to look at is called so this is an improved pet chooser. So before we move on to an improved pet chooser, okay, we've played these 2 apps. Okay. So, what I want you to think about is an app of your own. Okay. if you have not already, download the input and output activity guide that you will find in the assignment post. Okay, this is what it's gonna look like. This right here. Okay, activity guide, input, output. It's giving you the definitions. It's giving you the pet chooser. You're gonna write the inputs and the outputs of the pet chooser here, inputs and the outputs of the story creator here. And now you're gonna be working on an app with a partner. So, do you have to have a partner? No, but there's a saying that goes something like 2 brains are better than 1. All right, so if you're stuck thinking, having another brain that's not attached to yours might help you get over some of that stuckness, okay? So having somebody to kind of talk with and bounce ideas with, that's very helpful in the creative process, and we are creating. So I would choose a partner, but if you want to try it on your own first and then decide later if you want to redo it with a partner, that's totally fine. Okay, so think about an app idea that you would create. Okay, you are going to try to come up with a new app idea. What does this app do? What inputs and outputs does it need? You're going to put that information here. What does it do? What are the inputs? What are the outputs? Okay? Then you're going to scroll down and you're going to think, so far, all of the input that we have seen comes directly from the user. So in the 2 apps that we played with on code.org, all of the input comes from the user. So you need to brainstorm other ways that the app might get the information that it needs. Okay, come up with 4 other ways that the app might get information that it needs. Okay, think about that. Pause the video here so that you can really think and write some answers down, okay? Pause it. I'll be here when you get done. Okay, so the internet has a way where it can provide input. There are sensors that can give you input, so like your GPS, microphone, video, all right, these cameras, these can all give you input, okay? So think about things that your phone has. Yeah. How does your phone get input from you? Okay. So what we're going to do now that you've definitely gotten those done and we've talked about other inputs, we're going to look at the improved pet app. So try out the improved version of the pet app that gives the user information about pet stores close by, which uses new sources of input, and determine the information that the app gets from each source of the input. So go back to code.org and play with this improved pet chooser. Okay, you have to hit run, and then once it's running, you're going to click start and you're going to answer your questions. Okay, what do you notice whenever it gives you your pet again? Okay. All right. User, what information is it getting from the user? What information is it getting from phone sensors? Okay. What information is it getting from the internet? Now I want you to think about, well, okay, pause the video here to complete this part of your activity guide. So your app idea, how could you use other sources of input to improve your idea? So you just saw how with the improved pet chooser app, it suggests a store location, okay? It required you to tap on the screen, okay? So how could you use other sources of input to improve your app idea? You're gonna put your answers here, save this as a PDF, and then submit it to Schoology, okay? I'm gonna give you some time to do that. Pause the video here to finish it, and then we're gonna move on. Okay. So, for our wrap up, brainstorm an everyday activity you or people you know do with an app or computer. What is the input used for that activity, and what is the output? So in your journal, what is the input? Click here, answer it. What is the output? Click here, answer it. Okay. And then go to the discussion board, and I think what I want you to do for the discussion board is, let me pull it up for you so you can see. Okay, that's not it. Here we go. Do we have discussion board? No, add discussion. So what I want you to do as far as like formatting your discussion post. Okay. All right. You're going to format your answers like this. Okay, let's think about, so on code.org, this was Unit 1, Lesson 5. Unit 1, Lesson 5. Okay, and then you can say, an app I use every day is, okay, or an activity I do every day that involves an app or computer is. All right, and then let's see, what's the other one? What is the input used for that activity? The input used is, the output is, okay, so for example, I don't want to give you any examples because I don't want to give it away. So I will also comment on this discussion post once y'all have started commenting, but yeah, so this is fun. But also, what does this align with within our course objectives? Okay, so we are explaining input and output, okay, and we are also using an online learning management system. So, good job. Now, we answered this in our journal, right? So, after you've got your answer for your journal, go ahead and just also put that in the discussion post so we can share, okay? Now, your key vocabulary for this lesson is also on the assignment post in Schoology. Okay, input output U1L5 assignment post. All right, so you can copy and paste it from here and add it to your vocabulary slide in your journal, or you can just type it. So it's going to take forever to load, but Those are your options. And again, this was our question of the day. How do computers use input and output to get and give information that they need to solve problems? So let me know if you have any questions.